this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do another layout for my Disney album. This layout is the kind of the end of the Fantasmic show, not the end, but close to the end. And if you've ever seen that program, you know what a wonderful water show they put on. And so the photographs we're going to do today mainly have to do with the water show and the Mark Twain as it circles around with all the characters on it. So that's going to be the fun layout we're going to put together today. Let's check out my workspace and we'll get started. Alright, so this is my workspace for today, and we are going to continue working on Fantasmic. This is I think it's after the dragon has come. That's how I'm putting it in my book. I hope I'm doing this in the right order. But it's been a while since I saw the program, and so I'm kind of trying to guess and remember the order that the photos go in. No one will know, other than those of you who are diehard Disney fans. So I'm sure you'll let me know if I've got it wrong. But anyways, this is how it's gonna play out, and hopefully it will work. I have these photos that are kind of cool from the program where they do a lot of water and lights, and the Mark Twain comes through. And so these are the photos we're going to work on today, and I have this cool mat that I'm going to add, Believe in Magic, and you will find it. This comes from the Enchanted Princess and Enchanted Wizard collections, and their mat pack. That's just one mat pack that goes along with both of those. So I have these two papers. These papers are from the Enchanted Wizard pack, and these are the 12-inch border stickers that come with that pack. And so we're going to use this really cool one with all the stars and things on it down here. But I thought it would be fun, since this week is the virtual crop, we're going to do one of the virtual sketches. And so I'm recording this on Monday, and hopefully going to go ahead and submit a photo of this to the virtual crop just for fun. It's been a while since I've done that, so I thought it might be interesting. I've chosen the virtual crop number 4, and I've cropped a few of my pictures to kind of go along the same lines as what is designed for this sketch. But I am modifying it just a little bit because, you know, nothing's perfect. My photos don't go with this exactly, and so and my supplies don't either. So I'm going to kind of do my own thing for some of this. So just bear with me a second. I'm going to leave this out here so that I have a reference. And I'm going to go ahead and just fold this in half just to save some space on my table. So there's my sketch that I'm working on. I'm going to cut this piece right here, and I think probably the best course is to go ahead and move these pages that have my photos on them out of the way. Alright. So I'm going to grab my trimmer, and I'm going to first cut the long pieces that are going to go on the base of this. I'm going to use this word paper, and I'm going to cut it into 4 pieces. Now, a 12 by 12 piece of paper cut into 4 pieces means each of those pieces is going to be 3 inches wide. These shaded areas are larger than 3 inches. They're actually 3.5 inches. And if you're wondering how I figured that out, it's because right here it says 12 by 5, and that means that this white field right here is meant to be 5 inches tall and 12 inches wide. That leaves us with 7 inches to be divided in half for the top and the bottom, which makes each of these pieces 3.5 by 12. So you might be saying to yourself, well, that doesn't make sense. How are you going to get 3.5 inches, 4 pieces that are 3.5 inches out of one piece that is 12 by 12? Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not. But I'm going to modify it. That's why I said I was going to have to change it. So I'm going to cut 4 pieces that are 3 inches. Okay, so there's 2. And here are 2 more. Okay, so 2 for one side, 2 for the other. And I'm just keeping them separated because the words kind of still fit together in case anyone's, you know, really curious. And then to make up that other 1/2 inch, I'm going to use my decorative trimmer and make a ribbon that's going to go across the top of that. So I want my lightning bolts to be upright on the ribbon, so I'm going to turn my trimmer around. First of all, this is the Creative Memories decorative trimmer, and so it cuts a wave. And in the process of cutting a wave, you can do a lot of different things with this trimmer, but I don't have time to discuss all that right now. Okay, this blade is kind of shifty and it just tore my paper up here, so I'll try to just trim that. Okay, I'm gonna just move. I'm going to start with it centered. My paper is centered in the middle, so it's not right on either one of the shoulders, the top or the bottom. And the reason that I mention that is because it's an important feature of this trimmer to know that to get the wave directly in the middle, you have to center your paper. So I'm just cutting 1/2 inch pieces from this with it centered on the trimmer out of this nice gold paper with the lightning bolts on it. I'm going to need 4 of these, one for each of these pieces, to add enough height to make up the difference. And that's 4. Okay, and I'm going to stop there because I want to use the rest of this piece of paper for mats. So we're going to come back in with our straight trimmer and cut a piece that is 6.5 inches. Okay, and then we're going to cut 2 pieces that are 4.5. So 4.5 by 6.5. These are going to be mats. So there's one, and here is another. And then my photo that's in the center that I also would like to try to frame, I'm going to have to piece a frame together for. So let's check this out. So this is 4 by 4 square. So that means I'm going to need a 4.5 by 4.5 or 4.5 by 4.5 inch pieces. No, what am I saying? Yeah, 4.5 by 4.5 inch pieces, and I'm going to need them to be at least a 1/2 inch wide so that I have a little room for adhesion. So we're going to do, I'm actually going to do 5/8 of an inch wide. I'm going to cut these pieces at 5/8 of an inch wide. And this is just using the rest of what I cut there of that 6.5 inch wide, or yeah, that 6.5 inch wide piece. I'm just cutting it into 5/8 inch. So it's 6.5 inches long and 5/8 of an inch wide. I'll show you why in just a second. I need one more. Let's see if I can get my paper to stay enough to cut that. Woohoo! Okay, good. All right, so there are our pieces for that. And I think we are good to go ahead and assemble this. So this is an extra piece. I'll just set over here. We've got these pieces. Let me grab my precision cut scissors and fix this little tear that my trimmer made real quick. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be good enough, I think. All right. So I'll grab my pages here. Let's just grab the first page and we'll work on that for a second. Okay, so I'm going to scoot my photos kind of to the middle, just so that they're a little out of the way. And that one's going to go up there, and this one's going to go down here. I'm going to grab my adhesive. We're going to place this starting in the center, right along the jeeping in the center, and the lower edge right along the edge of the page, across like that. And I'm going to add one of these 12-inch stickers, which I'm going to cut. So I'm going to go ahead and place this in 3 places. So every 4, no, let's see, every 3 inches we need to put one. So we're going to go just beyond the white at the 3-inch mark. And I'm going to go ahead and put that down there, and then grab my scissors again and trim this off. And then at the 6-inch mark, which is here, we're going to place another one. And then at the 9-inch mark, which is here, and actually I'm just to the right of those measurements because this is not a straight sticker, so I'm just kind of placing it as central as I can. Okay, and then we're going to come back up here. Well, first I'm going to set that over that way. We're going to turn it around and go ahead and starting in the center near the hinges, right along that jeeping, and then right along the top of my page to line that up. And then again I'm going to line this up on my see, this isn't quite long enough. It's almost there, but not quite. So I'm just going to stick that back on here. Maybe we'll find a use for that little bit of sticker somewhere else along the line. Alright, so this one is going to go at the 3-inch mark. I'm going to trim it off. And the 6-inch mark, or a little beyond. Just make it as straight as you can, because with a sticker that's not straight, it does make it a little bit visually challenging to try to put that in the right place. And then the same thing right there. Okay, and then we'll stick that extra piece over that way. All right, now I'm going to grab my two of my ribbons, so to speak, and my repositionable adhesive. And I'm going to add this across the top of my newsprint. Okay, so that gives it that little bit of extra. And I'm going to turn mine around so that the dip on the top goes down, like this went up, and the dip on the top will go down. And the trick here is to make sure that each time that the swell goes up, you're not going to see the black page underneath. All right, so just like that. Now we need to build a frame around this guy because he's kind of the star. So I'm going to put my repositionable adhesive on the edges of this. I'm going to do each parallel edge, and then I'm going to trim it. Okay, so I'm going to do about roughly in a 1/4 of an inch frame around it, like so. And I'm going to come back over here with another piece. Like that. And then I'll come in here and add some more adhesive. I will add another piece. Now it's not going to look perfect because the lightning bolts are going to be going in different directions, but the likelihood of that being super noticeable is slim. So I'm just going to line up the edge, the different edges, stick it down, and then we'll trim these off so that we have a frame. This is what you do when you run out of the paper that you want to use, because I didn't have enough wide enough pieces to be able to frame that, but now that has a mat, which is nice. All right, so let's go ahead and get these pictures on, and then we'll do the next page over. So this picture, I'm just going to sort of set these on because placement of these is going to be a little bit, we're going to have to kind of see them all in place before they get placed down. Does that make sense? Before I push the adhesive down and seal the deal, as it were, I want to see what they look like. Okay. So this one's kind of in the middle. I'm going to center it over this center spray and just slightly over the edge of my horizontal gold ribbon piece. And then these two pieces are going to be slightly lower and centered, these photos. So I want them to be level with each other as much as possible. I think that looks okay. Hard to tell, but we'll go with it for now. And then I'm just going to make the distance between this mat and the bottom of this photo roughly the same as the distance between the photos at the bottom. You're not going to have that same luxury with the photos with the width between here or the sides because I'm using a 4x6 photo here. I did cut this to the size they recommended, which is 3x4, but because I wanted to see that whole photo, it kind of changed the dynamic a little bit. All right, let's do the right side of the layout. Okay. I'm trying to remember breaking news. So this one went up there. This one went down here. Again, starting from the center and following the edge at the bottom of the page to keep that straight. And then same thing with this, only vice versa, right? Because it's at the top. Okay, and then I've got more stickers so that we can add those on. Line these up again and do 3. And 6. And I keep moving my page around, which is not helpful to my cause at all. All right, and there's the other. Okay.
Ooh.
Ooh. Haley likes it.
Daughter approved.
Daughter approved. Nice.
Also,
There's one.
it's almost 5:30.
Okay. No worries. This just isn't quite long enough. I'm so disappointed that those ends were just not quite long enough. But that's okay. We'll just use all of them, shall we? Why not, right? We'll just use all of them. Okay, so this is, you know, not any different than what we did on the left-hand side of the page. Now we're going to take these other two pieces and add them on. That. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and use my two mats and go ahead and mat these photos. Oh, needs to come a little bit further this way. Aha, hold on. We need a little bit more adhesive. And, okay. These are going to go right here and be equally spaced. And the reason I'm not moving these over a little further, because on the sketch it actually looks like they've allowed more space in here. But I made my photos a little bit wider. So when I cut my photos, I cut them at 3.5 by 4 instead of 3 by 4 because I wanted to. Because I'd rather see more of my picture than more of the blank page underneath. So, yeah. Anyway. So I'm going to trim my mat, my fancy mat. I'm going to trim it so that it is 3.5 by 4 so that it matches the photo that will be under it, so that it will be the same height. Now what that means is my castle is going to get cut off a little bit, or I could move my mat up just a little bit and make it a little taller. I could make it just a little bit. Let's see. What would it hurt if we made it 5 inches? Right? Let's see. What would it hurt? We can modify this to work with our photos and our mats and our idea of what we want. The sketch is just to give you a launching off point, an idea to help you figure out something fun for your album, right? So I'm going to put that photo there, and then this one here, just like that, so that everything looks beautiful and squared off and tidy, like I meant to do that, right? All right, so now we just need some embellishments. What are we going to use to embellish this with? We've already got kind of a fancy-dancy spray going on, but we have some extras of that which we could add, which might be kind of fun. To just use our extra stickers to make a little bit of a something. So I think, uh-oh, hello. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Okay, so I'm going to just trim off the star here on the end that has been half cut. So that looks a little bit more finished. All right, so then I've got a little bit of whimsy for right there. I'm going to do the same thing with this other piece that we used a portion of, but not all of. And where could we put this one? We could put this one here. There's not going to be a lot of journaling on this page. It's kind of self-explanatory, so I'm not really needing to have a spot for that. But we could just add this, the remainder of this in right here in this black space, and then leave it at that. Unless I can find some cute little words to add somewhere. All right, let's see, where would we need to cut this one off? Probably either right before or right after this guy. Let's I'm not sticking that down all the way just yet because I want to just make sure that that's what I want to do. And I'm pretty sure that's what I want to do. I'm just going to grab the rest of these stickers that I have over here and see what else we could do. We could add Full of Wonder. We could add All Smiles, but we don't really have a lot of red that we're accenting with this one. We could add we don't really have to add anything if we don't want to. We could add just some little stars. Bigger stars. So we could do kind of like that. Or maybe like that. And I'm not popping any of these up because the page before it has some things popped up. So I just don't want to add a lot of foam squares to this page. Oh, and I do have one more of those little kind of accent stars. So we could kind of just put him up there like that and leave it at that. I think I'm happy with it just like that. I don't want to make it too terribly busy. What do you think? Let me know what you think. I think I'm going to take a picture of it and submit it to the virtual crop. just so other people have some cool ideas. Because I like seeing everybody's cool ideas in there. I think it turned out pretty good. Thanks so much for joining me. This one was a little bit quicker than usual, which is also always good. It's nice to balance out the longer ones with some faster ones. Until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Have a great weekend. Take care.